Who is Rana Ayyub? Is she a Nobel laureate, a world-renowned writer or an economist, or the deposed lovable head of a state imprisoned by hostile powers? Pray, who is she? After all, why is the United Nations Geneva, led by UN human rights experts Irene Khan and Mary Lawler, so concerned about her well-being? To quote them, relentless and misogynistic and sectarian attacks, unquote, have been launched against her by the Indian government, and what may be a first, the two UN rapporteurs also question India's judiciary because they feel that judicial harassment against Ms. Ayyub should be immediately stopped. Strong words these, and it warranted that we dig a little and find out something more about Ms. Ayyub, who is on the United Nations radar more than the Ukraine-West conflict on which UN Geneva, or for that matter, any other UN body, they are all strangely silent. So, our research shows that Ms. Ayyub is a muckraking journalist who has made a career and a living opposing the Modi government and anything or anyone associated with the words Modi, Gujarat, riots and Hindus. And that is not all. The lady stands accused by the Enforcement Directorate of siphoning off nearly 2 crore rupees collected from people like you and me for relief work and then transferring nearly 50 lakhs of that money in the fixed deposits in her father's account. It all runs in the family, as you can see, but that is not the end of it. The lady has shown expenses for her kitty collection, which exists only on paper, and she also stands accused of violating FCRA, or the Foreign Contribution Regulation Act, by accepting monies illegally through foreign contributors. And this is the woman the UN finds time to defend her illegality and castigate the Indian government and judiciary at a time when Russia is on the verge of invading Ukraine and tensions in Europe could spill over in a hot war in which hundreds and thousands of people could be killed. So, what does it say of the UN and its cause célèbre Rana Ayyub? We will debate this issue. Hi and welcome everyone to the Thinking Folks show, the CAA show. CAA, as all of you know, is Conversations and Analysis, and my name is Juggi Bhasin. To be part of our show, press the big red subscriber button on your screen. Subscription is of course completely free. So the term United Nations appears to be an oxymoron because it seems only to be united in protecting its fraternity of overpaid, opportunistic, intellectually sterile, morally and ideologically corrupted and completely biased individuals who, under the banner of a high-sounding United Nations title, end up playing an inimical, divisive role in creating fissures and deepening them to pontificate and rule. Their role in recent years has become a tool of social and political disruption and less of an alleviating agency as it was meant to be. The same bunch of misfits and troublemakers land up jobs in media, academia, and various organs of the United Nations. Catch them ever saying a word against the white man in the Western world and its imperfections and blunders, or even a word against the new dragon on the block, China. Look at the kind of hatchet job the WHO performed in covering up China's tracks in the spread of COVID, and its more than quick recognitions of the third-rate, almost useless Chinese vaccines. The chickens are, of course, coming home to roost for the Chinese now. When the rest of the world is coming out of the pandemic, many parts of China, and especially Hong Kong, are reeling under the pandemic. But not a critical word against Chinese policy by the WHO or any other UN body. All the criticism in the world, all the manufactured outrage, all the finger pointing is reserved for self-respecting emerging economies like India. After all, how can the brown man dare to hope to walk up to the high table and demand a seat there? And what better way to put a country down, a country like India, than to take up the case or the cause rather of its worst misfits like Miss Ayyub and peddle a spurious narrative of victim blame game for the entire world. Ukraine, the ill treatment of blacks in America, the truckers' strike in Canada, and the undemocratic crackdown on them, all that can be damned. A stick to beat India is good enough. And we also allow this nonsense to go on and on because unlike China, we don't play hardball. Unlike America, we don't cut funds from UN budgets. And unlike what sensible governments should have done a long time ago, we don't withdraw our troops from peacekeeping duties from the hotspots in the world to make the United Nations see sense and shut up its preachy, shrill, and biased Cassandra repertoires. We always want to be the good boys in this useless, preachy club, not realizing to get your way, you must score at the net playing hardball and not softball. The likes of Rana Ayyub serve a purpose for these United Nations bodies and the schemers who staff them so that they can bring pressure on India. It is not that they particularly care for Rana Ayyub or they give her two hoots for the likes of her. Making polite, disagreeing statements issued by the MEA to provocation and interference by these UN bodies is not the way. We have to block them, starve them of funding and access, and deny them our most precious contribution, that is sending our best trained troops to carry out dangerous peacekeeping duties in troubled war parts of the world. Respect is earned not by sucking up to the system. It is brought by banging your shoe on a UN high table the way Khrushchev did a long time ago. So, on this note, I come to the end of this episode of the CAA show. I hope you enjoyed this particular episode, and if you like the show, do subscribe to us. And on this note, it's goodbye and cheers from my end.